goes, you don't wanna grow. Trying to forget, I'm in your head, shatter up your spine. Try not to choke, a funny joke when you say you're mine. Lost your control, think you're alone, I'm still in your mind. You can bury me. You don't love a night. I'm still broken in the gutter. It's just me on my side, but I leave you with the shudder. With the shudder. I got goals, you don't wanna know. I got goals, you don't wanna grow. With the shudder. I got goals, you don't wanna know. I got goals, you don't wanna grow. I got goals, you don't wanna know.
party coming, move around like fresh when the school
несет меня, будто в кулаке зажав великан. В иллюминаторе земля. Самолет несет меня, большой стальной великан. В иллюминаторе земля. Frankfurt lights tonight, lost in the afterglow. Oh, girl, your love for me keeps calling me, so I'm calling you. Lord, give me life to find. I long for your company. Oh, girl, your love for me is a part of me, my biology.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first live episode of the Crunchy Conservative Podcast. I'm Adam Thompson, and next to me is not only a good friend of mine, but my best friend, all the way from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Weston Craigu. Weston, first time we are doing this live, and I couldn't be more excited to do it.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a good time. We're going to talk some good talks. And I think we're going to get some good hot takes here, too.
Oh, yes. We like to talk about the things that is not getting talked about. And one of those things that isn't being talked about is the takeover of big tech and literally how social media is affecting our society and the way that the private social media companies, Twitter, Google, Facebook, are all basically more powerful than any other government in history of the world. So, we are going to definitely break down a lot of things. Wes and I have done a lot of practice runs. We've recorded those runs, and we'll be releasing those videos in the future, so all of you can see what other takes we have had in the past. Also, just see what it took to get to this point. So, Weston, obviously, for the viewers at home, they probably, when they heard Minneapolis, the first thing that they probably thought of was George Floyd. You got to see it basically firsthand, and we won't. And in future episodes that we'll upload later, you'll be able to hear his account of the George Floyd protests and what he endured, and also not only just George Floyd, but the Devonte Wright? Dante. I knew it was started with the letter D. I apologize, but yeah, Dante Wright also got to experience a little bit of the protest and the rioting and the looting that took place there. So, but it's been a couple weeks, Weston. You came out here and visited the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Gorgeous area. Miss it so much.
Miss it much. How was your trip home? I hope you got home safely. How was Minneapolis?
You know, it was kind of interesting getting home since we had wildfire smoke all the way in the city. Usually it's nice, crystal clear. You can see forever. I pull into the city. I'm like, am I in LA? Did I go the wrong direction here? It was bad.
You know, the smoke here in the Black Hills of South Dakota, it was very thick. We are, you know, at some points Friday night, I'm a public address announcer at the local racetrack here, and I could see the moon, and the moon was just red. I mean, it was just pure red, and so lots of smoke. And thoughts and prayers to all of the firefighters fighting on the front lines of the wildfires in Montana. We hope that gets
Well, and British Columbia and Oregon and Washington, just in that total northeast corner.
Yeah,
it's terrible right
now. Terrible. Thoughts and prayers to all the firefighters who are fighting those fires. We hope all of you, make it home safely, and have this horrible natural disaster resolved, and and we can go back. And what else, Weston? The Tokyo 2020, that's how they're labeling it, not the 2021 Olympics, because we like to live in the past, apparently. Has gotten started. U.S. soccer losing, has lost a couple of matches now. The U.S. men's basketball team had lost against France the other day. Rugby, we lost. NBC coverage.
Dude, okay, I'm not very well versed in our rugby teams, but are we like one of the better ones usually, or is it kind of middle of the pack?
To be honest, I turned it on actually. I think it was last night, and it was interesting. I didn't realize we had a United States men's rugby team, so we lost the game to South Africa. So
a country that has a rugby
team. South Africans, okay, they creamed us, okay. But if you've never watched rugby players are just built different, guys. They are built differently. But who knows? I hope they rebound. That's a sport that I wish people would watch more. But NBC's coverage of it hasn't been the greatest, in my opinion. I was watching it, trying to understand some of the sports a little bit better, and just couldn't grasp everything. I watched handball the other day. I've been watching a little bit of it more, and still don't understand it. So that is the Olympic update. Obviously, some Olympic athletes having to drop out so far. Simone Biles, the United States gymnast, who is very good, withdrew with an injury, which, good. I would rather, that's good for her. She got there, but something happened. And sadly, athletes are humans, and they can't just stay healthy all the time, Weston.
No, they cannot. Props on her, though. I know a lot of people usually like to push through, but she knew it was best for her and pulled out with probably a super serious injury.
Yep, super serious injury. It was like a leg injury of some sort. So I hope she recovers and is able to return for the next Olympics for sure. So
2024.
Yep. But other than that, I mean, the United States has won a couple of swimming events. Somebody from Alaska won gold medal in I think the 2,000 meter. So congratulations to her. And I saw that reaction. I don't know if you've seen the videos, but the reaction of her winning that race, you could tell it was just true pride and patriotism, and also just super excitement for her, especially just her accomplishment and what she did. So huge shout out there.
That's awesome.
The U.S. Hey, we're here. We're here. We're back. Okay, we're showing back up on the international stage.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The women's gymnastics team still got silvers, though, and 2 Minnesotans are on it, too. So pretty cool there.
All right. Well, yeah. What are they doing again? Which events are the Minnesotans from doing?
The gymnastics team.
Okay.
They still pulled the silver medal, even without the star gymnast.
I know a lady. I don't know her name. Again, not familiar who is in the Olympics, who is out. But she was from a town 20 minutes from me, from Sturgis, South Dakota, and she lost her bronze medal match in I think judo or taekwondo or some sort. So we got 4th there, which is awesome. So
still impressive.
It's nice to see some South Dakotans do very well. Well, Weston, let's get down to business. I apologize for those who are watching. We're about to see me take a drink of this right now. I know I'm going to offend some of you, but I'm going to be honest. Pepsi Zero, compared to this, I can't, guys. I'll put my political differences aside for this, okay? Because I just like it more. All right, they win, okay? They win on this one.
Adam, you know the hardcore conservative drink is RC Cola. There is no replacing that for hardcore conservatives.
Oh man. Well, the Biden administration has when are we ever gonna get a straight answer? Like when a reporter asks them a question, like Peter Doocy did from Fox News at the press conference 2 weeks ago, talking about how the government was working with social media companies and SMS companies, and then Jen Psaki, circle me back Psaki, literally said the whole idea and whole narrative of that is completely absurd. And guess what? Literally the next week, we find out that, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Psaki, this is, let's see here. Which video should we play first? Should I play the Hill or the Hill with the Psaki calls for social media companies to collaborate on ban? No, I'll play the first one first. This is from
Play the first one.
Yep, this is from Newsweek. It's a 48-second video. You'll only hear the audio on stream, folks.
Actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government.
Why is this
We've
not
increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation.
Troubleshoot.
We're working with doctors and medical professionals to connect to connected medical experts with popular who are popular with their audiences with accurate information and boost trusted content. So we're helping get trusted content out there. We also created the COVID Community Corps to get factual information into the hands of local messengers. And we're also investing, as you all have seen, in the president's, the vice president's, and Dr. Fauci's time.
What is going on? Like, that was full admittance that the government is working with social media companies, private social media companies, after they literally said the week prior that the entire idea was absurd. Okay, Weston, let's break this down. This is something we've been fearing for quite a while, especially yourself.
Well, it's something that's been going on for years now.
It's been going on for years, but now it straight up went from that's an absurd idea, no, we will not do that, to now we're just straight up doing it. And she wasn't even asked. I don't even think she was asked a question. That was just literally during her notes, right? She just said that out loud, which is crazy. Like, did they forget that they said last week that idea was absurd? When is this administration going to be held accountable for flip-flopping on basically everything?
When they lose majority.
When they lose majority.
Well, the thing that bugs me so much is that this is stuff that we've been saying for years. Look at China. Look what they're doing with their social media stuff. They literally have programs that track like how people interact on social media, how long they game, how long they basically stay attuned to electronic devices, and then judge their character off that, where they'll get like cheaper electricity rates, better plane tickets, better access to dating websites if they're scoring higher on how the Chinese government wants them to act. Like, I know that's a far cry, or at least seems like a far cry from what we're doing right now, but it started with this small stuff where they just wouldn't let people post about certain topics, certain ideas, and now we're getting to the point where the government is now hardcore censoring stuff, whether it be fake news or whether it be opinionated. It's terrible.
Well, on the New York Post, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Thursday the Biden administration identifying problematic posts for Facebook to censor because they contain misinformation about COVID-19, Psaki disclosed the government's role policing social media during her daily press briefing after Surgeon General is it Vivek Murphy called the companies to purge more pandemic posts. The demand for censorship in Psaki's administration and government involvement follows a series of flip-flops from health officials who contradicted themselves throughout the pandemic on issues such as mass efficiency, as well as censorship of claims that later gained credibility, such as the theory COVID-19 leaked from a Chinese lab. So this is becoming a widespread issue at this point. The Biden administration basically is flagging posts. Okay. Mark Zuckerberg needs to answer for this right away by Senate Republicans. I think Ted Cruz, I think if any of the senators any Republican senators want to keep their seats for next year, they got to get on this. Okay, they need to ask Facebook directly, what have they been talking to you about? Can we see those emails, or can we see this communication in person? Or, some way of seeing what has been talked about, what is actually being flagged. I mean, Jen Psaki talked about they have 12 people. They have a list of 12 people spreading misinformation. So what does that mean entirely? Because let's admit it, the government's not really the arbiter of truth. And neither.
The thing they're not telling you is one of them's Fauci when he was saying don't wear masks back in last May.
And honestly, I'm gonna declare something right now, and I wish more media would do this. Let's stop talking about Fauci.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Stop talking about him, because at that point, he loses his audience. If people if Fox. And really, this goes out to even Blaze, the Daily Wire, and honestly, let's just stop talking about him.
Absolutely. I mean, I was reading an article today from Fox 9 about the Delta variant here in Minnesota and how it's become the predominant one. And it was talking about the recent CDC guidelines for mask wearing for vaccinated individuals. And it came across a Fauci quote. It's like, I almost clicked off. I was like, I don't trust the dude anymore. He's flip-flopped so often, and he's shown us cards that he's a favor to the state, and he's going to lie to citizens to get them to do what they want to do.
He says that attacking him is attacking science, and that could be any farther from the truth, because attacking him is because his definition of science is that whoever pays the most money. That's that's how we'll come to our conclusion, whoever has the most money and who will pay me the most. Okay, his very own definition of gain-of-function research matches what gain-of-function research really means and what he actually did. Okay, there's documents, there's emails defending this and supporting this. And why can't he just accept it? Just to if you just accept it, your punishment's going to be much it's not going to be bad, nearly as bad as continuing to perpetrate this lie, continuing to lie to Congress, okay? Because not only has he not lied just once, he's lied twice, he's now lied 3 times. He's lied multiple times now, and he continues to. And I kind of agree with the people who are referring for a criminal investigation into this. And I think it needs to happen. Wes, I don't know with the people in Minnesota how they feel about this, but I know a lot of people in South Dakota kind of feel about the same way, that Dr. Fauci needs to be criminally investigated.
I wouldn't feel far off from that, because his misguidance probably killed many Americans. It's his flip-flopping that's gotten everyone to mistrust the CDC and everything else going on. If it wasn't for him lying to try and get quote-unquote healthcare workers in a better position, whether that was the case or not, I think we'd be in a much better case, or better scenario right now. But the fact of the matter is, he lied. Nobody trusts him anymore, and we're kind of where we're at now. I do think criminal charges could be a definite solution.
Yeah, I think we need to really get to the bottom of this. But let's be real. Let's stop talking about COVID. If you look at the actual COVID numbers, South Dakota doesn't even have a COVID risk anymore. We have the highest vaccination of any other state in the country.
Really?
Yes, we're the highest, 49%.
Oh, we're 56.
Well, in terms of like population density, like and how quickly the vaccine was distributed and everything, like our rate.
Well, and that might also be with other stats because
Yeah.
that's just eligible ones in Minnesota. I know off the top of my head.
Oh wow, no, like we're fully like anybody can get them. So, like, in terms of rollout and everything, like it's been super good. Like, and our COVID cases are pretty low. You can just look this up on Google, and if you're looking on One World Data, you will see that South Dakota's 7-day average of COVID cases has decreased. We had 0, I think, for like 3 days in a row. Like, we're on a 25 7-day average. So, nice. So, yeah. So I think it's over. We can call it a quits. Let's have some fun. Let's party it up. Get vaccinated though. Well, actually, get vaccinated. If you want to. If you don't feel like it, don't do it. That's your choice.
Get vaccinated if you can, and your doctor says it's a good idea.
Yes. If you yeah, there you go. See that one. It's a fine line. There's a fine line somewhere. We can find it.
Yep. Always ask your doctor. They're gonna know what's better for you or not.
There
So,
you go. Well, Weston, we're not going to talk about COVID-19 because, again, who wants to talk about something like that? Because we got to talk about the big tech industry and how they're really taking over. We're using a big tech company right now. We're streaming on YouTube, and they're part of the problem.
Mhm.
So, hate to call them out, but I mean, Steven Crowder does all the time. Who cares? But we want to make sure that our speech is respected. Opinions are respected. Research-based evidence opinions are respected. But these tech giants, they seem to not really care. Jack Dorsey at Twitter, he's being sued by Trump, Ron DeSantis, somebody else in like the Northeast, like I think it was a candidate of some, I can't remember what it was. I saw it on TikTok and I looked into it. It was like, oh, he's getting sued by everybody.
I mean, it had to have happened after what we saw with the election and everything. New York Post getting its story taken down. It's a clear censorship case.
Yep.
Now, it'll be interesting what happens, but I'm excited. I'm hoping this codifies social media into First Amendment, since that would be excellent.
I'm going to find a picture real quick because this is this made me, the lights went off, the sirens went off. I went, okay. And this is a problem now. We need to probably do something about this problem. So, for many of you, you probably heard about the whole John McAfee thing. We're not going to dive into it at all. I paid attention to it just a bit, just a little bit. I wanted to see, because if something would have happened, I would have loved just to seen it happen firsthand.
Mhm.
But hey, nothing happened. Now I don't care. But I tried to send this link to a group chat that's with Weston and a couple of our friends called the Crunchy Conservatives. That's why this podcast is named the Crunchy Conservatives. And for those of you at home who want to see this, I'm going to show it to you in the camera. I tried to send this link that had the countdown that was working because the original site was having like problems like for like 3, like even the day before, it was like you couldn't load it. You had to use a different site. Like I found like a nice little rabbit hole, I would say a nice little rabbit hole that like guided me in the right direction of everything. So I tried to send it to our Facebook group chat, and this is what it said: sent failed, number 368. The action attempted has been deemed abusive or is otherwise disallowed.
Yeah.
So
We've known about this for months that they've been sleuthing. Well, forget months. This has been going on for years, but they've been aggressive about it since COVID started. They've been actively looking for what is deemed as, at the time, considered false narratives about COVID. They're even doing a very public test about getting people's posts removed from people's timeline that were talking about negative effects they had of COVID vaccines.
see,
They've been doing this for years, but now that Jan 6 happened, you've got to go in against political ideas, and they're really hammering what they see as fake news or possibly a firing point.
but this is a problem because this is a private group chat. All right.
Yeah.
This is a group chat that we have amongst other conservatives. Now I'm concerned because we have talked about some shit. some
Well,
really,
even worse, they want to do it to telecom
Yeah.
communicators so they can start censoring your phone calls and your text messages.
So this is a very big problem. People we need to wake up to this issue. Everything that we see going on is just a distraction. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. You know, the big picture is they want to take your free speech away. They want to take your right to have an opinion, to question whether something is right or wrong and research it for yourself. They want to take that away. They want to take away the right to express your opinion that is maybe different from the majority. Because maybe the majority is not always right. Weston, obviously you've seen this firsthand. The majority is not always right.
Yeah, I think as the old saying goes, a democracy is 2 wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner, or a republic is a well-armed lamb disputing the vote.
It just makes me nervous, you know, because
I mean, the Twin Cities are bad right now because of what we saw with a majority,
yeah,
let's say, majority opinion about what to do with the riots, what to do with crime after George Floyd, what to do with policing. It's bad over here. I know the old saying is Chirac with Chicago because the gun violence is so bad. But I mean, it is at least equally as bad with a city that's not even half the size.
this weekend they had 107, I think, deaths or shootings.
I don't know.
It
That
was
seems a bit high, but
one of the two. I was on Dave Rubin's YouTube today just seeing what he was saying about the news and around and getting his reaction, kind of seeing what was going on. I think he said 107 shootings or deaths. Somewhere in the between, like somewhere in the something there. You'll have to see it for yourself. I can't quite remember, but Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, when she is done being mayor, there's probably going to be criminal prosecutions against her. I'm not going to lie about this because there hasn't been a mayor in Chicago that has.
wait, I thought it was Illinois governor that hasn't gotten into felony
Both.
charges after their
Both.
governorship.
Both have had problems after, legal problems after their terms. Lori Lightfoot, obviously a racist, only gives one-on-one interviews with people of colors. That's violating.
Oh, and don't forget sexist women of color.
Oh, good point. Obviously violating the First Amendment. While she's concerned over that, her city is people are getting shot and killed.
14th Amendment, actually.
freedom of press is a First Amendment.
Well, yes, freedom of press, but also freedom of equality and guaranteed civil
Oh
rights.
yeah, it's the first and 14th.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So any lawyers out there that want to make some money in Chicago, there you go. There's a lawsuit waiting for you there. Sometimes you just have to say things like this and just honestly, because it's right. You know, if you want to make change, you just got to hit them where it hurts. The money. So any lawyers in Chicago who are sick of this shit, find somebody who's been offended, get a lawsuit. There you go. You make millions of dollars, and you'll affect and make change at the same time because they'll be broke.
That ain't law advice, but if you want to go for it, do it.
It's not really law advice, but it's just like, hey, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Honestly, you know, it. But Lori Lightfoot is more concerned about that than she actually is about the shootings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's not doing a damn thing about the shootings. I feel bad for the people in Chicago. If you are in Chicago right now and you are near these areas of where these shootings are happening, I hope you you have a gun yourself and that you protect yourself. I really hope you have a way of protecting you and your family. So, and utilize that Second Amendment right. So that's all I gotta say about that. But the fact that Lori Lightfoot is more concerned about who she's giving interviews to than that. I mean, when are the people of Chicago going to step up? I mean, obviously, let's look at Cuba. Cuba's finally had enough.
Yeah.
The light switch, the light finally came on. It's like, and the U.S. response to that is horrifying. And the fact that Democrats are blaming Republicans on the embargo. That Republicans are not doing anything about Cuba. It's like, what can Republicans do? You strip the minority of literally everything.
Yep. I mean, I know that there's a mayor down in, I think it was Miami-Dade area, that wants the U.S. to think about doing airstrikes there because he cares that much.
Airstrikes?
Yeah, it was a Republican mayor. He wants to do airstrikes to help support the Cuban citizens.
Okay, that's a little bit.
It's a bit far, but
That's a
Republicans
Republican
do
mayor.
care. Yeah, I believe so.
Oh my lord! I mean, he really cares, but let's not take off on that.
He's
idea.
also Cuban American, so I mean,
Oh, okay, that makes more
a
sense.
little bit of connectedness.
Okay, can we get the Cubans out of there first? Can we make sure they're safe before we do that?
Yeah.
Then blow up
I
the
mean-
government. There you go. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We don't need another Bay of Pigs invasion,
But-
Adam.
But here's the thing. A lot of ham radio people. I was scrolling through TikTok one day, and I found just on my For You page a guy talking about this, and he was a ham radio guy, and he said the signal was being jammed, and out there. You know, that should wake up a lot of people of what the government in Cuba is doing. Thoughts and prayers.
Well, I mean, they're also cutting internet and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They're able to control that.
They're controlling the internet. They're controlling the way of speech, and the fact that literally all these social justice warriors and these Biden supporters, Trump haters, you know what they're saying?
One sec. There is a company that actually is deploying satellite internet to Cuba. I think it is Elon Musk, but I could be wrong.
Well, Elon Musk is different, okay? Elon Musk is Elon Musk. Elon Musk will do whatever he wants.
It's true.
And Elon Musk can do whatever he wants because it's Elon Musk.
Oh, no, that's DeSantis. DeSantis wants to do it.
Oh, DeSantis.
Florida.
DeSantis and Elon Musk. Let's have a meeting, guys. Let's have a meeting.
That'd be a way to do it.
That would be the best way to do it, man. Let's take innovation like Elon Musk.
Like Starlink.
It's like Starlink. And let's take a sensible conservative. Oh my lord. You know how many people would lose their minds? Oh my lord.
Oh, absolutely.
We thought the Minneapolis fires were bad. Just the amount of just internal combustion that would happen inside somebody, just in somebody's mind. They couldn't handle it, man. The amount of triggering and meltdowns. Oh my lord, please make that happen. Please, for the love of God, make this happen.
It'd be a great way to solidify communication, especially in a time as trying as this for those hard fighting Cubans.
Especially for the Cubans, man. Like, they need everything. But honestly, it's over. It's done. We can be thankful that the communist regime is being toppled. This should shock a lot of people in the United States, and the fact that these socialists and these SJWs and these social justice warriors do not see the irony, or really, the irony, and really like, hey, this is what you're advocating for.
Yeah.
This is what ends up happening.
Well, I know down in Florida, the Miami-Dade area, it was supposed to be a safe Democrat area, and they voted in Republicans, partially because it was such a heavy Cuban-American area. They don't want that here.
Yeah,
They know what true socialism is, and they're scared of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell a brief story. What time is it right now? It is 7:35. Cool. I can tell this story. For those of you who don't know, or who, if you don't care, I watch this sport called Formula One racing. It's a great sport to watch. Highly recommend it if you're into motorsports. But they held a race in Cuba. I was listening to a podcast about this, and the Formula One race took place in Cuba during Castro's revolution. The top driver in Formula One that year was kidnapped by Castro's revolutionists. Which was kind of interesting to hear that. They didn't, they treated him well, apparently. They fed him, didn't even hurt him at all. They just kidnapped him. That's all they did. They just took him to send a sign to the government, because the government was wanting capitalism and an American way and everything. And Castro did not want that. He wanted the way it was described, I was like, wait a minute. What you described is what not his. That was not what happened. That is not at all what happened. It went the opposite direction of what he wanted, what he talked about, and what he preached. At least what this podcast was talking about. It's on what's called F1. I think F1 Paddock Pass. Very, very interesting insight about that particular year in Formula One, that the top driver was kidnapped by Castro revolutionists to send a signal to the Cuban government at the time. And obviously, look at what happened. It obviously had an effect on the victory. So, and that's and you see a lot of people you see Cuban Americans getting called racist on when they say we are pro-protests. We want the Cuban government to fall. We want communism to fail. We don't want socialism. America, 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 USA, 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 USA. And they're called racist. And I don't. Weston, help. Where's the logic?
Well, the logic is it doesn't line up with the majority opinion.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Well, that's
if you're not. It's why you see Black people, Hispanics, Mexicans, Native Americans called white if they disagree with the mainstream narrative.
Well,
it's a.
Go ahead, finish your right.
Well, it's a terrible discriminatory tactic is basically the racist calling people racist to say that they're racist.
This is the thing. Is it the majority? Is it
The
really
majority liberal opinion, I should say,
like
or at least the mainstream opinion.
like to be honest, you can look this information up right now. Fox News has the #1 viewership in cable news rating than any other news channel. All right. That says a lot to me. People tend to watch current event news based on what they agree with. So the numbers are just not lining up with me on that this narrative, this liberal agenda, this liberal narrative is the majority opinion. Is it the majority opinion? I don't think so. I really think people are more conservative than they think we are. And I think conservatives are more liberal than we think we are. Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you. In fact, I think one of the biggest miscalculations most people make is that the blue dog Democrats of the 2000s are gone. They're still around. They just don't pay attention to politics as much. You're talking about a bunch of uninvolved people on both sides that are going to keep voting for their party that they've always voted for, unless maybe they pay a little bit of attention. But you're asking a lot of people to try and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do think the average Democrat's a lot more conservative than people give them credit for.
Let's look at what. Well, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, here we go. We're gonna talk about something that YouTube's gonna get mad at us for, probably. The Maricopa County 2020 presidential election audit. Oh no, YouTube, get ready for this, because there's facts to back this up. There is a 77,000 vote discrepancy of ballots that were sent out than what they were sent in. So 77,000 more votes were sent in than what were sent out. That's concerning.
What I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen any of that, but I have seen people getting fired from the investigation because they are uncovering stuff that isn't very kind to the narrative of people making the election. So
literally, Cyber Ninja, which was helping with the audit, came out and said there was 77,000 votes that were sent in, mail-in ballot, that were not accounted for being sent out. 77,000. 77,000.
Who was reporting on that one?
That was literally a hearing that, like, I think you can just type in YouTube, the Maricopa County Cyber Ninja hearing, and you can just find videos of the 77,000 quote. So, that made me nervous, because if it's not only happening in one county, okay, we need to get to the bottom of that. We're hearing talks of the Dominion voting machines having potentially being accessed during the election. Oh no! So there's that. I hate talking about the election, I really do, but when I hear these things, it's just like, wait a minute. So all this time when we said we should maybe look into this, and maybe, it's okay to question the integrity. It's okay to question it, because the liberals and the Democrats did that for since 2016 by saying that Trump stole the election from by colluding with Vladimir Putin and Russia, which my grandmother said happened, and I said, "Do you have proof?" She said no, and I said, "Well, there's proof out there that he didn't." It was
Well, I mean, it also happened in 2000 with the Bush election too.
it happened.
The Supreme Court decision on the Florida county.
Isn't it weird when Democrats lose at their own game?
Well, you can also look back to the 70s with Nixon and Reagan. It's been
It's been awful.
a thing that happens quite often.
So when I'm okay questioning our election. If there are actual like things that come up and like you go, wait a minute. I mean, obviously the mail-in ballot system needs to be improved. I agree with that. I think ID to vote, the racist ID to vote, is a step
80%
forward.
Black communities support ID to vote.
Yep. But it's that's a step forward in improving the system. But yet it's called Jim Crow 2.0 by the bumbling President Joe Biden. The bumbling President Joe Biden. Does he actually know he's president?
Does he actually remember that he has dementia?
I really don't know. Joe Biden is just, it's been crazy just when he's speaking on the podium. Okay? All right? Like, right there, like I zoned out for just a second. I was just thinking of what to say there. But for him, he was talking about something. He was getting real emotional. He was getting real emotional about something. He was going, if you want to get this done, and blah, 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 like just real emotional. And he freezes. And then he just does this and just steps back, and all of a sudden he talks, and then he just moves on from the topic. Completely moves on. Doesn't go back to what he was talking about. Doesn't even finish. I was actually kind of curious what he was going to say because I think he was trying to make a pretty good point about something.
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that he goes from this.
It's concerning because he can't stay on a straight line with his thought process.
No, he can't. And either the teleprompter, the person at the teleprompter is doing a bad job. Their speechwriters are shite.
Trina Shabata Pressure was definitely on the teleprompter, right?
Honestly, who is running this country right now?
A cabinet chosen by the president and the vice president, like usual.
To be honest, I don't think there's really anybody because even the cabinet people, the people in the president's cabinet are so incompetent doing their job right now. Like, we literally have an entire executive branch that's really incompetent of just doing their job. Like, we have Circle Me Back Saki. We have Sleepy Joe Biden. Kamala Harris, who I don't even think she knows she's vice president. I think she just feels like she's Biden's bitch at this point.
I don't know that I go that far.
She's doing like everything for him. Like Biden's like, oh yeah, the vice president will handle that. The vice president will handle that. The vice president will handle that. You know what Biden's doing?
I've said it before. It's Cheney 2.0.
Well, Bush did at least like do things. Like he went out and physically visited these places. And
so does Biden. He threatens rural areas that he's going to nuke them. He does stuff.
But he doesn't like travel to the border.
No.
He doesn't.
But he did go to the G7.
Yikes. At least Bush, like, when something bad happened, and something terrible is happening, he at least had the audacity to show up.
And dodge, just like the shoe and the tomato.
Okay. But Biden hasn't done that once. It's usually just handled by the vice president. I think Kamala Harris has the bad end of the stick here. I think she has to remind Joe every single day that he's president.
Well, bad end of the stick depends on if when they run again in 4 years, she gets to claim like this was my presidency, just like on the campaign trail, the Kamala Biden ticket. So this could be more of a tactic almost, as in 4 years as a vice president running as president, and then 8 years as a president for her if she decides that's the way she wants to go.
Have you seen her recently on the news? Have you seen what she looks like?
As any politician running president, worn out and stressed as heck.
No, she looks way worse than that. She looks like she is just done. She just looks like she is like the rest of us right now. Well, not you, like not me particularly, but like a lot of people that I know. Overwork, underpaid. Like, she just looks like she is just kind of like, I maybe signed up for the wrong thing here. Maybe I'm like over my head here. And to be honest, you are over your head. You are completely useless to the executive branch, Kamala Harris, because you haven't done anything except actually prove that Trump was right about immigration, stopped Guatemala, and tried to stop Guatemalan immigration. So congrats. Thank you very much for helping the Republicans out on that. We've been saying that
did we reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, or is that still a foregone occurrence at this point?
At this point, who knows? Who knows what's happening?
Like, I know they've reinstated a lot from the Trump presidency. I just don't remember if they've reinstated that.
Well, yeah. Well, who knows? I really don't. I think it's going up and down. It's going back. Like, again, this is so flip floppy. I don't know who's like which direction the government is going. It's just like, whoop. Okay. Psaki calls for social media to collaborate on banning people for COVID-19 misinformation. This is another clip we'll play for you. I want everybody to know this is quite what you are about to hear should scare the shit out of you.
You went through kind of the top line details of this yesterday, but can you elaborate a little bit on the Facebook, the administration to Facebook, flagging of disinformation, and then there's also some reporting that we've had that Facebook maybe hasn't been as proactive as the White House would like it to be in response to some of the flagging. So the process of how the flagging works, and then whether Facebook has been amenable to those requests.
Sure. Well, I would say first, it shouldn't come as any surprise that we're in regular touch with social media platforms, just like we're in regular touch with all of you and your media outlets about areas where we have concern, information that might be useful, information that may or may not be interesting to your viewers. You all make decisions just like the social media platforms make decisions, even though they're a private sector company and different, but just as an example. So we are regularly making sure social media platforms are aware of the latest narratives dangerous to public health that we and many other Americans are seeing across all of social and traditional media. And we work to engage with them to better understand the enforcement of social media platform policies. So let me give you an example just to illustrate it a little bit. The false narrative that remains active out there about COVID-19 vaccines causing infertility, something we've seen out there flowing on the internet quite a bit, in other places as well, which has been disproven time and time again. This is troubling, but a persistent narrative that we and many have seen, and we want to know that the social media platforms are taking steps to address it. That is inaccurate, false information. If you are a parent, you would look at that information, and that would naturally raise concerns, but it's inaccurate. And that is an example of the kind of...
Okay. So, right there. I want to go back. I want to play something for you right at the beginning of that clip.
You went through kind of the top line details of this yesterday, but can you, so the process of how the flagging works, and then whether Facebook has been amenable to those requests.
Sure. Well, I would say first, it shouldn't come as any surprise that we're in regular touch with social media platforms, just like we're in regular touch with all of you.
Oh,
And-
yeah, we're just in regular touch with them. Yep. Regular touch with them, just like we're in regular touch with the press. That right there, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, you have talked about this for years now, that big tech is too big. Here's your proof. There's your proof right there. Because here's the thing. They literally have said social media should not be the arbiter of truth. They are not the arbiter of truth. Why is Facebook even involved with the government? Why are they involved with the government? Why is Twitter involved in the government? Why are they talking to them? We need answers, folks. We need answers. These people need accountability. It is time for us to finally take some action. There's lawsuits pending. Call your representatives. Call your senators. Talk to your party. Talk to your county party. Get them to get behind your back on big tech. Get them to lobby for big tech regulations and restrictions on private ownership. And basically a respect for the rule of law, or get shut down. That's really all we want. And it's time for change. If you agree with us, we will be posting more videos about this. We are big on this. It's time for us to stop this from happening here in the United States. We are turning into China. China Joe, he's a real person. He's a very real person indeed. The 100-year plan in China is in full effect still. It's time, folks. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing that gets me is just, I know people always defend that this is private businesses doing private business stuff, but no, this is government contractors or basically contacting these people and contracting them to effectively disown the First Amendment and break the First Amendment clause. The government can't hire somebody to then go and break the rules of the Constitution for it. It's unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, I know that they're the private business, but social media is the commons now, and nobody can own the commons.
Yep.
It was less than enthusiastic when Trump refused to try and amend the First Amendment by including social media. And I hope the next president would do so, because it's something that needs to happen. Social media is such an important part to societal function at this point. You can say the bad things about it, you can say the good things about it, but for every censorship issue we have right now, we also have to point to the Arab Spring back in 2012, 2013, 2011. That gave millions of people freedom. It's a powerful tool to be used by the people. It can be abused, and maybe the bad things of it can be extremely bad, but social media is the people's best weapon against modern government.
Well, folks, the war is on. The war has been waged. It's time. It's time for us to step up and take control of this, and we will be providing those content videos and how to take action, and what we won't be taking like legal action or anything, but what we will try and say, and what our research shows, and who we talk to and work with. So, and also we are looking for help on graphics. If you are willing to help us out with graphics, please give us any ideas. You can shoot us an email at crunchyconservatives@gmail.com. So, well, Weston, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for all watching. This has been it's been a great episode. We made it through our first time doing this live. So tune in next week. We do this we do it once a week, usually on Mondays. This week we did it on Tuesday, but we'll usually do it on Mondays at 9 Eastern right here on the Crunchy Conservatives YouTube channel. But thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like, hit that thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and we hope to see you next time.